Welcome back to our Fallout Let's Play. In our last episode, we acquired this fancy suit of T-45 power armor that is definitely rusty as all get up, but it allowed us to be Iron Man and take on all of these raiders and a Deathclaw. Our first Deathclaw of the series. It is your first introduction to that which is Deathclaws, which are apex predators of the Fallout world, if you will. So, in this episode, the Minutemen are headed to Sanctuary Hills, which will be our first settlement that we get the ability to build in. If you're playing with mods, there are plenty of mods that are catered towards settlement building. I'm not playing with mods, I'm playing just a standard vanilla playthrough, but we will still be able to do some pretty fun things with the settlement building, which is why in this episode we're going to go meet up with them, but we're not going to walk on foot, because only peasants walk on foot. No, I'm just kidding. I just don't feel like walking over there, so we're going to go ahead and fast travel. And here we are, back, home sweet home. Codsworth still patrolling the area, of course.
Codsworth.
Mr. Jeff, welcome back, sir. I do hope you were able to find some assistance in Concord.
You could say that. I made a few new friends.
Can't have enough of those these days. I realize that I'm no Mr. Gutsy, but if needed, I'd be honored to accompany you throughout the Commonwealth. Just say the word.
Would you like to?
As you wish, sir.
No, not now.
All right, then.
So Codsworth is now available to be a companion, just like Dogmeat is. We're going to stick with Dogmeat for a little bit. Codsworth is great fun, and of course he's been your friend for 200 years plus. So there is definitely some benefit to having Codsworth around. Now, we're going to see that Preston Garvey is here, and we can talk to him.
Hey there.
I'm glad you decided to come with us. I should have listened to Mama Murphy all along. Pretty nice place she's found for us. I think we could settle down here. Make it a place to call home. What do you think?
Yeah. I used to like living here. Before the war.
What do you mean? Before what war? Are you saying...
I lived here over 200 years ago. I was frozen or something for most of it. Just woke up a little while ago.
Damn. Like one of those old pre-war ghouls. You say you were frozen.
Alright, I'm not as ugly
Anybody
as
else
a
make it
fool.
out with
Come
you?
on now. Preston, take it easy.
My son. Somebody took him while I was still trapped. Have you run across anybody with a baby boy?
Damn. I'm sorry. But no, I haven't run across any kidnapped babies. I'll definitely keep an eye out for him. Anyway, I am glad you're here.
To be fair, it's been 200
hope you
years.
don't
He's not a
mind.
baby anymore.
But I've got another favor to ask. I've had word from a settlement asking for help. There's still hope in there are Minutemen out there. Somewhere. The only chance to start rebuilding the Minutemen is to show people that they can count on us when they need us. Trouble is, I've got my hands full here. Do you think you could go help out the settlement?
What kind of help do they need?
Sounded like the usual. Raiders. You'll have to get all the details when you talk to them.
I'd be glad to help.
That's fantastic. The Minutemen could use more people like you. By the way, if you want to help out around here at all, talk to Sturgis. I'm sure he'd be glad for all the help he can get.
Alright, so we completed our quest. 10 Pines Bluff. Okay. I was hoping for, I believe it's Abernathy Farms, but that's okay. This will introduce you into, yes, Dogmeat, I know you have found something. We will check it out in just a moment. Please let me talk. Thank you. This will introduce us into one of the mechanics that was a bit of a large hate to the game, and that is that Preston Garvey will very frequently tell you that there's another settlement that needs your help and send you on a side quest to be able to go help them dispatch raiders. It is important to note that the reason the hate was given to the mechanic like this is because A, it is very, very frequently, and B, it does not matter how well you fortify or defend your settlements. For some reason, they always still require you to go over there and help them. So I do understand the backlash in that regard. However, I do think it's kind of fun to see that, we are effectively still being there to help the community as a whole. We're being the police force, if you will, going over there, helping them when they're in need. It adds to the world building. Do I think it's a bit much sometimes? Yes, especially when you're really just trying to get some quests taken care of and you can't do it because there's a settlement that needs your help. But I digress. This is, again, our first settlement in which we can build. So if we go over to our workshop here, we can actually hit E for workshop, and that will let us open up our build menu. So here we can highlight over things and we can scrap them if we would like, so that we can get the materials, 6 steel, and everything's going to give us a different kind of material. So if we do that, we're going to get rubber out of this, so on and so forth. This is a great way for us to be able to accumulate a bunch of resources so that we can then build everything into our own. These dilapidated houses will give us resources because we can scrap them. So we'll get a good chunk of them, and that'll give us a good foundation to build on as well. So we're just going to keep coming in here. We're going to keep scrapping everything that we can. And that way we can get a good amount of resources to utilize for building our own sanctuary and give our new friends a nice sense of home. There's going to be a lot of this on your first time through. I'm not going to spend all this time. We'll probably do a lot of this off camera. I just wanted to illustrate that you can scrap a bunch of things and make room to build. This green border that you see is actually your border for this particular settlement, so we can actually build a lot in here, as you'll see. What we can also do is we can use plus or minus to, arrow keys, so that we can go through and see all the different things that we can build with, such as structures. They have pre-made structures, or if you wanted to, you can actually build your own. You should be able to, there we go. You build walls and stairs and things like that all on our own without having to do pre-made structures. Personally, pre-made structures I do find to be very useful in this game particularly. In Fallout 76, not so much. I prefer building my own structures. But for a case like this, unless you're playing with mods, there's not a whole lot of great ability to build your own. So you can see that once you select something, you can go and we can use the arrow keys to toggle between what we want selected. We can then kind of build where we choose to, how we choose to, and I can do this, right click, left click, we'll spin it, we can line it up and just build our own little settlement here. I'm going to do that and hope that's lined up. Kind of difficult to tell sometimes. So we'll go and see, this is lined up, but it's not on this, so we're going to select you.
Okay then, buddy.
And
Keep doing what you're doing. Seems to be working for you.
whoa. Gonna cancel. Going to place here. And then we can then go into our build menu once more, and you'll see that it'll actually do what's called a snap to place, so that way it snaps everything exactly where we want
I
it.
know what you're gonna ask me, John. I've seen
And then
it.
we can also see if this is lined up. So obviously I wasn't lined up,
You have the
but
site.
this is just your
It has to be able
very
to-
basics on how to build. Again, I prefer to use prefabs.
Even this.
The reason I prefer prefabs in this game, once again, is ease of use. So if we go into here, we can see that we have a little section of prefab, and we can select different ones. I don't really like a whole lot of these. These are the ones that I like, because these give us a good amount of room, and they look remotely decent. I wouldn't say they look the best, but they at least look decent. And we can choose how they're oriented.
Spent a little time on the run
Just
when
plop it down just for the sake of plopping it down.
you were
No,
younger.
we don't want to store that. We want to back out of build menu, come in, and you can see, oh look, we've got our own little room, got a
Yeah,
little
that's good
upstairs
advice.
with
Sounds like quite the
a balcony
adventure.
out here. It doesn't quite match the aesthetic of all the other houses, but again, this is 200 years into a post-apocalyptic world, so we're not going to have the same level of building.
Seen one of those suckers before?
But
Then,
as you are working on your settlements, when you are in
no power armor, fancy mini
build mode, let me go back in here real quick. We'll go down,
Telling me you killed a death
and
claw with one bullet?
go over
Come on.
to
What do you take me
resources,
for?
It's true. I might not
food
look it,
resources.
but
If
back
we
in the
had
day,
plantable
I
food,
had
we can
quite
plant it
the
in the
shot.
settlement, and
Yeah,
at
or
the top
quite
here
the
you see
imagination.
that there is food, water, and power, as well as defense and beds. This is how we are going to gauge our happiness meter for a particular settlement. We do need food per person that lives here. We do need water per person that lives here. Power we really only need for things that require power. Defense, we do need defense so that hopefully they can fend for themselves while we make
Hanging
our
in there?
way to them
Well,
if they
I guess
ever
so.
do get attacked.
Every day I
Beds,
get
you
up
need
and
one per
tell
person.
myself,
Pretty self-explanatory. The more beds you have, the more likely you will also have people join your settlement, so you will see that the amount of people will go
"Let me know
up.
if there's anything I can do
So
to help."
building a
Oh,
good amount of
okay.
beds is always a good idea.
Yeah, hey,
The happiness
I know I
is
haven't
determined by
earned
how
my
much
weight
of
around
all
here,
of these resources you
and
have.
I'm really trying to do better.
So we want to make sure that we have a good amount of resources for our particular settlement so that they are as happy as they can be.
Thanks, Sturgis.
That is a
Thanks for checking
brief
in on me.
overview of the settlement for you. I wanted to make this episode before we go to Diamond City to explain that. Like I said, I will be doing a lot of building and scrapping and stuff like that off camera, so that way we're not taking lengthy episodes and boring you guys to death. If you do want to see me have an episode dedicated to building, I can certainly do that. Let me know in the comment section below if that's what you want me to do, or if you would prefer me to save things like that for off camera, so that way we can just continue focusing on the story of the actual game. I'm okay with doing either or. I would love your feedback, but in the meantime, we will see you guys in the next episode. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and again, let me know in the comment section how you would like me to handle building in settlements on camera or off camera. I'd like to make sure that we're making the most of your time because you are joining me in my adventure through this playthrough, and I want to be respectful of that. Thank you guys so much for the support. We'll see you next time.